recording. Wait, don't start.
Welcome, everybody. We're ready to start. Okay. So, hi, I'm Cassie Cresswell, CassieCreswell. I'm the director of Illinois Families for Public Schools, a grassroots advocacy organization that pushes for pro-public school policies and legislation. Thanks to the many organizations who are standing with us today, especially Equality Illinois, who helped us plan this event, and to the brave parents from districts around Illinois who are speaking out after being personally bullied and harassed by parents associated with Awake Illinois and now Moms for Liberty and other affiliated organizations such as the Proud Boys who have been attending board meetings to stir up hate. We are here on this Saturday morning because two of these groups are hosting school board trainings around the state of Illinois, including behind us today at the Marriott, and we must not let the violent agendas spread across the Illinois schools or anywhere else for that matter. Our first speaker today cannot be here due to a family illness, but we really wanted to acknowledge her story. We've included her video in the media alert, and it's really an important story. Stephanie Obed, and she is a parent in Naperville District 204 who has really stood up to the hate in that district and stood up to make sure that it is a pro-family, pro-equality, pro-equity place here. And so we want to acknowledge that she is speaking and really appreciate her. So our first speaker will be Director at Equality Illinois, where the state's LGBTQ civil rights organization. And we're here today in solidarity with parents, with teachers, with youth, and our partners to call out the hate and intimidation and to tell LGBTQ Illinoisans, and in particularly youth, that you belong, that you matter, that you are beautiful, that you are exactly who you are meant to be, and that we are grateful that you are in the world. At Equality Illinois, we have heard directly from our partners throughout the state about these anti-family, anti-equality hate groups that cruelly target LGBTQ people in community events with online and in-person harassment, intimidation, and threats to harm. They intend to shut down community events and silence LGBTQ people. They also aim to control the lives of other people and deny us our lived experiences. They want to erase LGBTQ families and their families of our allies. They peddle a cruel and false message that LGBTQ people are deviants, that LGBTQ people deserve shame and stigma. But we know that LGBTQ people are co-equal members of communities. LGBTQ people deserve the same rights, the same treatment and respect as our straight and cisgender allies. We are here because we will not let these hate groups control our narrative, our families, or our ability to see ourselves reflected in our schools or in our libraries. Equality Illinois advocated and helped pass the inclusive curriculum law to ensure that the contributions of LGBTQ people were reflected in history curriculum. The law contributes to a fuller, more inclusive understanding of American history. That's why our state laws are also teaching Black, Asian American, and Latinx history in the United States. That's how we get closer to telling the full story of the United States. These are some of the policies that anti-equality, anti-family hate groups that are here today are attacking. Because by denying our stories, they can want to deny our existence and justify their cruelty. But we will not let them do that. We are organized, and we know that their vitriol and messages of hate across Illinois are those of a small fringe And lastly, as an organization that engages in the electoral process to defend LGBTQ rights, we know one important way an LGBTQ adult or an ally can support our communities and our youth is by running for office. We are here in this spot today because anti-family, anti-equality groups are recruiting and training candidates to implement their cruel agenda. We must not allow hate groups to win. Running for office can be hard and scary, but please know that there are friends, partners, and allies ready to support and persevere with you. So I'll say it again. LGBTQ Illinoisans deserve to know that they belong, that they matter. To all the LGBTQ youth, you are beautiful, you are exactly who you are meant to be, and we are grateful you are in the world. Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Kylie Spahn, a parent in Downers Grove, high school district 99, and she will introduce herself.
Good morning. My name is Kylie Spahn. I'm a Downers Grove parent and one of a group of residents in Downers Grove community that has pushed back against extremism in our community. The pandemic saw a hyper-focus on our high school boards. Outrage in our community over mask mandates and remote learning put the spotlight on our high school board members. As Illinois opened up and our schools returned to a more normal, the reception of visitors at our monthly board meetings saw a shift from parent concerns over COVID mitigations and remote learning to that horrific outrage over responsive teaching standards, which extremists in our community, as we now know across the country, call critical race theory. This outrage was sparked by our district's commitment to recommendations in the district's diversity, equity, inclusion audit. Parents in our community pushed back. When extremist efforts failed with regards to CRT, they refocused on the LGBTQ plus students and the community by attempting to ban LGBTQ plus books in our school libraries. The focus of these homophobic attacks was the book Gender Queer. They tried to threaten and bully us. A community high school district 99 parent was responsible for bringing the hate group, the Proud Boys, one of the organizations that collaborated on the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, to our school board meeting. This meeting made national news, highlighting the strength of 5 high school students who bravely stood up to these bullies amid taunts, jeers, and name-calling. Parents supporting our right to intellectual freedom also spoke out in support of diverse literature in our libraries. We won that fight too. School boards across the country are responsible for so much that make for a dignified school day for all students. On the one hand, as we have seen around the country, with groups like Moms for Liberty are having a terrible impact on our black and brown LGBTQ plus students. And I will admit, it's not always an easy battle, but it is winnable if we are organised. Due to being outspoken, I'll attack verbally representatives, and my employer was called by someone a number of times who claimed that I was a bully and should not be started around kids. Despite this, my job is intact, and the students at District 99 can read books that our experts at school find appropriate for now. Stand up for our school boys, stand up for our students, pay attention to who you are voting for in our elections. In all elections, there is a lot at stake here.
Thank you so much, Kylie. Our next speaker will read a statement from Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. This is Hogan, who is an Illinois Master Public Schools board member.
Good morning. Anne and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago stands in support of
As a leading Illinois hospital, Lurie Children's recognizes that there are numerous negative health outcomes related to rejection in schools, and therefore remains committed to supporting access to inclusive and affirmative education. According to the GLS survey, 85% of sexual and gender minority students are subjected to harassment and discrimination at school. Research consistently shows that LGBTQIA+ students face heightened risk for violence, harassment, and social exclusion in school, which are linked to lower levels of school engagement and academic achievement, and increased health risk behaviors such as substance abuse, suicidal ideation, and depression. Hostile school environments students and negatively impact all students. Everyone deserves to feel safe and supported at school. Affirming and inclusive practices create an environment where students of every gender are given an equal opportunity for educational attainment. Lurie Children stands in opposition to hate, transphobia, and homophobia in schools, and calls on school boards to ensure that public schools remain equal safety for all students. School districts must set an example of understanding, kindness, and respect for our entire community, especially for our students. We remain a resource to districts that are committed to providing a safe and inclusive learning environment where all students of every identity can learn and succeed. My name is Hu, H-U-U. Last name is Lin, N-G-U-I-N.
Our next speaker is Shannon Lucheko. She is a parent in the 200 District Wheaton. Thank you, Shannon.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Lucheko, and I'm from Wheaton, Illinois. I'm the parent of 2 children in our CUSD 200 public schools. And I'm here today because I love my community, I love my public schools, and I am alarmed by the extremist agenda being pushed by groups like Moms for Liberty and Awake Illinois, and I know it's happening all over in Illinois and throughout the country. In my district, we've had individuals, some of whom don't even have children in our public schools, stand up at our school board meetings and yell hateful names at our board members, causing disruption and chaos. Fueled by the same talking points we keep hearing in the news elsewhere, they push an agenda to ban books, to weaken sex ed standards, and dissolve equity and social emotional learning initiatives. They don't speak for the majority, and they are insidious in the claim that they are just concerned parents. Most parents want schools to adhere to professional standards based on data and research, and we know that these things actually lead to improved academic performance and healthy mental development for our kids. The parents leading these groups inside the Marriott claim to be protecting our children, but they have an agenda that is anti-equity and anti-family, and they continually model the worst bullying behavior possible for all our children. I've seen them target and harass, in person and online, school board members, administrators, teachers, and even parents who speak out against them. Their motto, "You can't cancel us," yet they want to erase anyone who doesn't hold their belief system or look like them. Parents end up getting scared, and this disincentivizes the average person from wanting to run for school board or voice their opinion, because who wants to be their next target? That's not right. And it's time for parents to stand up to these bullies and say that this isn't what we want in our schools and our communities. A true partnership between parents and schools doesn't look like that. It's about working together in the spirit of cooperation and mutual respect with a shared goal to keep our public schools strong and do what's best for all kids. Parents are not adversaries of schools, we are partners. I won't stand by while my public schools or yours are under attack. Please go to your school board meetings. Consider running for school board. Public schools are the backbone of our democracy. We to make sure they remain strong, to protect the rights of all children and all families in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shannon. And now we will hear from Tim Thompson, a public school teacher and a parent in Naperville.
Good morning. My name is Tim Thompson. That's TIMTHUMPSON. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a parent in Naperville District 203, and I also have the privilege of being a teacher in another district. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all today. In the winter of 2020-2021, Naperville 203 was remote learning. My oldest daughter, then a third grader, had been attending school virtually for 4 months. I have been teaching remotely in my district for that same amount of time. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard. Then, as the 2021 municipal election cycle was ramping up, I discovered a slate of anti-everything candidates who vowed to open the schools immediately upon their election to the school board. The 4 candidates running would immediately be given control if elected. I made it my mission to prove to the public that these candidates were dangerous and cause untold damage if elected. I was relieved on election day when I saw that not even one had won their election. Yay. It was over, I thought. We all know what happened next. A similarly failed candidate from 204 formed a group called Awake Illinois. By mid-May, she was already speaking at area board meetings, including in Naperville 203 on May 18th, raging against the evils of CRT. Mid-June, the day after the tornado in Naperville, she returned to the 203 board meeting, claiming that systemic racism doesn't exist because people were nice to each other after the tornado and Starbucks opened a reserve store in Naperville. I know. She used her line, "You can't cancel us," to which I and many other people in Naperville replied, "Challenge accepted." The individual leading training for parents here in Des Plaines and around Illinois was part of a larger network of moms groups with similar agenda of exclusion and hate. Hasn't made much traction in our own town. As Awake trains parents around our state, and Moms for Liberty sprouts chapters across the country founded by dark money and dark ideals, we will continue to push back against these radical, hateful, dangerous ideas and keep them far away from our schools, our parks, and our cities. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Our final speaker is Alana Jacobs. She's a school board member in Niles District 219.
Hello, my name is Ilana Jacobs, E-L-A-N-A, Jacobs, J-A-C-O-B-S. I wear many hats. I'm a teacher in a different district. I'm a school board member in D219, Niles Township, and I'm a union member, and I'm a member of the LGBT community. So I teach in Pilsen, and Skokie is where I reside with a residency waiver. So Niles Township is extremely diverse, amazing district where we educate students from many different countries, and often countries that are at war with each other. So developing continuous, improving school culture that works for everyone takes work, and it takes resources, requires funding for anti-racism training for staff and faculty, which I have participated in, which is promoted in the mission statement, which is promoted by administration. So we also know how to engage in culturally responsive pedagogy. It takes materials for more inclusive history that meets new state requirements with the TEACH Act to teach Asian American history. I've been on the Illinois LGBT task force to teach LGBTQ history, to teach Black history, to teach Latinx history. For those things, school board members have the power to make it happen, and those are the priorities. For the most part, we've working in 219 to create an inclusive culture, but I know there are those in the community who do not want inclusive, welcoming culture. I was featured in a Pink Slime news story and then shared on social media by Awake Illinois. And Awake Illinois has a local chapter by Awake Niles Township, a group that is formed along with the Moms of Liberty. So they wrote about me because I don't I will not support hate. And I want to make sure that there is inclusive community. And I know that our students know each other. Our students are the future, and our students know how to get along with each other, how to politely, respectfully disagree, and amplify each other's voices in creating positive communication, positive relationships. This next door, Niles Township Library experienced extremist takeover in a slate of candidates who run and want to defund the library, excluding texts that aren't in English, and weaken anti-equality, anti-equity agenda creeping in our public spaces. It's not only a Niles thing or an Illinois thing, it's a much bigger thing. Just last week, Lincolnwood Library had people protesting outside for LGBT books. It's all connected. They spoke about at our school board for a kid named Jake, where thought it was not appropriate play by Niles West, and it was absolutely fantastic. So, as a school board, I strive to serve all our district students and families. It's not easy with a diverse community, but the basis for our values is our school community to be inclusive, openness, equitable. So, I hope that you will stay informed, do your research about school boards and public spaces. School board races aren't until April 2023. I am here to ask you, please run for school board, please run for library board, please run for park district. These are really important places that you can help make a difference. So even though the races aren't till April 2023, what you need to do is get your signatures by December. So thank you. I encourage you to run. Keep doing amazing work.
Thank you so much, Alana. I'm going to close out now by reading a statement from ADL Midwest Regional Director David Goldenberg regarding attacks against members of the LGBTQ+ community and other paid activities. ADL Midwest is proud to join this impressive coalition of community leaders and organizations speaking out today in support of Illinois' LGBTQ+ community. It is deeply disturbing that school boards and local governments have become the front lines in the fight to protect and celebrate the LGBTQ+ community. But they are, and we cannot afford to be silent. Let's be clear, there is an organized and violent campaign underway to target local elected officials who support inclusive communities and policies, to intimidate members of the LGBTQ+ community and support businesses, to ban books and school lessons, and to preach hate and intolerance to make community members feel unsafe and unwanted. Perhaps most concerning, extremist groups like the Proud Boys and others like Awake Illinois are carrying out this shameful campaign at a time when national data shows a dramatic uptick in hate crimes targeting members of the LGBTQ+ community, and especially those who identify as trans. Their campaign is rooted in lies, and it is downright dangerous. Schools should be a place for students to learn and grow, and public spaces should be where community members gather freely and express their identities without fear. As groups like Awake Illinois and the Proud Boys continue to target the LGBTQ+ community using new and vicious tactics, we are committed to working with our coalition partners to disrupt the cycle of hate and guarantee our communities are more equitable and safer for all. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. I'll just say just very quick final remarks. So the hate driven by extremism that we've been hearing about today is not new in our country or our state. It ebbs and flows, and its ascendancies often follow times of great progress towards
greater equality, justice, and freedom for people who have historically been deprived of freedom. That seems to be what's happening now. If it has at times ascended, it's also receded. But defeating hate is not inevitable. It has always required the collective work of those who will stand together to confront hate and struggle for a more equal, inclusive society, and that requires bravery and solidarity. So I am grateful for all of you here today who are here to speak out, who are here to stand up for the inclusive, affirming, truly safe public schools and communities that we all need and deserve. I urge everyone who cares about the public good and wants to live in a multiracial, multicultural democracy that works for everyone to get engaged and organized. Thank you so much.